Welcome back, Focus Learners. So, today's explainer is diving into a really fascinating intersection I've been looking into lately: sound therapy and sleep science. We're going to explore some pretty common myths together and figure out, once and for all, the absolute safest and most comfortable ASMR setup for a full night's rest. Because let's be real, if you've ever woken up to tangled cords wrapping around you or those incredibly sore ears from your earbuds, you are definitely going to want to hear what this source material actually suggests. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for the analysis. We're going to start with the common ASMR advice, then look at the science of immersion, the physical reality of sleep, a super practical decision framework you can use, and finally, we'll wrap up with volume and listening safety.
Section 1. The common ASMR advice. But is it always right?
So, if you listen to ASMR, you have undoubtedly heard this classic piece of advice: just wear headphones. And look, this makes a ton of sense, right? If you want to feel incredibly close to a whisper or really hear the crisp, detailed texture of a sound, headphones are your best friend. But as we dig into the research here, we kind of need to critically question if this is actually the only right way to listen.
Because when it comes to bedtime, you have to remember, sleep is not an audio quality test. It is an 8-hour physical process. So we're totally reframing the discussion right here. The real question we need to ask isn't whether headphones sound better, it's this: which setup helps your body safely fall asleep and actually stay asleep? We really need to prioritize physiological sleep safety over just chasing that perfect high-definition audio experience.
Section 2. The science of immersion, or why we instinctually reach for those earbuds in the first place.
The core mechanism of binaural ASMR is honestly fascinating. The whole magic relies completely on channel separation. When a sound moves from your left ear over to your right, your brain interprets that as realistic, three-dimensional movement. It's like you're actually in the room. And headphones physically separate those left and right channels, which creates this incredibly immersive illusion for the listener that regular speakers simply cannot replicate in the exact same way.
And we have studies that brilliantly demonstrate the real physiological benefits of that immersion. Research about Barratt and Davis, PeerJ and colleagues, and Smigga and Wiggs all show that ASMR can significantly reduce your heart rate, improve your mood, and induce some really deep relaxation. But here is an absolutely crucial detail I found while reading through the methodology of these studies. To standardize their experiments, researchers generally required their participants to wear headphones.
However, that leads us to a massive caveat that we literally cannot ignore. Just because scientists use headphones in a controlled lab does not mean it's the optimal setup for your own bed. There is absolutely no universal scientific rule out there stating that headphones are always better for sleep. A highly controlled, short-term laboratory setup is quite frankly completely different from your actual 8-hour overnight sleep routine.
That brings us to Section 3, the reality of sleep, the lab versus the bedroom.
There is a really stark contrast between these two environments. In a scientific lab, you're awake, the session is short, and the audio is perfectly standardized. But in the reality of your own bedroom, you might be a side sleeper, literally pressing your ear into a pillow for 8 straight hours. You also have real-world pressures to deal with. You might need situational awareness to hear a smoke alarm going off, a crying child down the hall, or a ringing phone. The bedroom environment demands physical comfort and safety first and foremost.
And this is exactly why speakers can actually be the superior choice for sleep for a lot of people. Think about it. Speakers completely remove that physical irritation. They let your body toss and turn freely, they completely reduce that annoying pressure on your ear canal, and crucially, they allow your nervous system to actually feel safe by letting you hear your surroundings. The ASMR just becomes a natural, calming part of your room's environment.
Of course, to be totally fair, we have to honestly present the downsides here too. The trade-off is detail. When you use a speaker, that intricate ear-to-ear stereo movement is going to flatten out a bit. Plus, if you share a really noisy household, you might be forced to crank the speaker volume up, which could totally disturb your partner or just defeat the soft, sleep-friendly nature of ASMR altogether. It's definitely a delicate balance between audio quality and your physical comfort.
Section 4. The practical decision framework. Let's talk about actually making the choice. So, what does this all mean and how do we choose? Well, it breaks down to matching the physical device to your specific needs on any given night. You should use headphones when your relaxation depends heavily on binaural detail. Think ear-to-ear whispering, close mic brushing, or really layered stereo triggers. But on the flip side, you should switch to speakers when your primary goal is physical comfort, room ambience, and overnight safety. Speakers are absolutely ideal for low-voice narration, sleep stories, soft rain, or brown noise. Basically anything where precise left and right placement just doesn't really matter.
But hey, what if you need both? Enter the hybrid solution. This is a fantastic method for listeners who desperately need those immersive triggers to wind down, but want to avoid that awful ear pressure all night long. It's simple. Step 1. You wear your headphones for the first 10 to 15 minutes while you settle into bed. Step 2. Take them off and switch to a bedside speaker, or simply just use a sleep timer on your app right before you actually drift off. You get all those amazing, brain-tingling cues without the all-night friction. It's kind of the best of both worlds. To help you self-diagnose your current sleep hygiene, I want you to pay attention to these red flags. Your setup is probably wrong if you wake up with ear pain or ringing, you're blasting the volume just to cover up your loud roommates, you feel anxious that you're going to miss a baby crying, your earbud wakes you up by basically stabbing into your ear when you roll over, or, and this is a really big one, folks, the audio is so engaging and close to you that you just keep scrolling for hours instead of actually sleeping.
Moving on to Section 5, volume and listening safety, because protecting your ears is absolutely crucial. This is a pretty profound concept for ASMR listeners. ASMR actually works best when it is quiet enough that you have to stop chasing it. I love that. Your nervous system instinctively leans toward very soft sounds, using them as a gentle background signal to relax and drift off. If you crank the volume way up, your body actually interprets that loud noise as a reason to stay in a heightened, alert state. We definitely don't want that.
And because we are talking about an 8-hour exposure window during sleep, we really have to look at the World Health Organization's vital principles for hearing protection. Always, always keep your sleep volume much lower than your daytime entertainment listening. You want to avoid prolonged, loud headphone exposure. For your physical safety, absolutely avoid cords that can tangle around your neck while you toss and turn. Go wireless if you can. Keep your earbuds clean to prevent infections, and please, stop immediately if you ever notice any pain or ringing in your ears.
I really want to summarize today's explainer with this wonderfully empowering thought based on our source material. The perfect ASMR listening setup is the one your body can forget about. It's so true, right? Sleep simply does not happen when the audio is super impressive or distracting. True sleep happens when your nervous system stops monitoring the device, stops monitoring the room, and finally feels safe enough to just let go.
So I want to leave you with this provocative question to test out later. When you go to bed tonight, ask yourself tomorrow morning, did your setup actually help you sleep, or did it just keep you engaged and awake? I highly encourage you to test that hybrid method out, try a speaker, and see what removes the most friction for your physical body. And if this explainer helped you optimize your rest, make sure you subscribe to Slice Therapy ASMR for more fantastic, evidence-based sound and sleep guides. Thanks for learning with me today, and sleep well.